In this video, we're gonna check out the Ram TRX. It's a 6.2 liter V8 supercharged truck with essentially a Hellcat motor. It's a little crazy. Let's check it out in this video. Before we get into the video, huge shout out to JC and Tori at ALM of Athens for making this video possible. So check them out if you're in the market for a car. So let's go and jump right into it. So the TRX, this thing, it's a little nuts. I mean, you've got a Hellcat motor in a truck. I think it's a little bit overkill, but we'll find out in this video if it's just right or is it too much. Starting off with the front, you do get wider fenders on the TRX model versus like a regular Rebel or even like a base model. This thing's just nuts. I mean, it's really like the Hellcat version of a truck, and I really do like the matte black grille on the front. And then obviously you've got your tow hooks here. Pretty aggressive seeing that on a truck, and you know, this thing's really built for off-roading, but it's cool because if you're driving it just on the street, I mean, you've got 702 horsepower, which is just plenty for the street if you want to toss it around, or if you actually want to take it off-road. You can really do it all on this thing. The hood on here has some vents, which looks insane. I mean, it's just kind of like, I think with Dodge and Ram, like what they're doing with their cars and trucks is like, almost just like, it doesn't make sense, but it kind of is really cool once you actually get into it and you pay attention to it, because it's like, in what world do I need 700 horsepower in a truck? But with the Dodge, I mean, come on, it's pretty sick. So moving along to the side of the car, you know, follow along with the fenders, man. I just love the way they look. You know, you've got the matte black plastic here. A lot of new cars are getting this matte black plastic, but I think it looks really good on a truck. A car, maybe not so much, but definitely for the off-road look that you're trying to go for, like a truck like this, it definitely looks super good. And then you've also got these humongous tires here. I mean, if you're trying to go off-roading, you can definitely do it with this truck. Really beefy suspension on here as well. And I just overall like the way they look. You know, you've got 6 lugs on here, super beefy setup. So let's go move along to the side of the car. Nice little detail here. Another vent. I just love seeing all the vents on the cars. You know, even if it's fake, I think it looks cool. It really just adds a lot of appearance to it. And then, you know, you've got matte black door handles on here. You can't really tell too much with the color of the car, but this is painted, this is matte black. Obviously, being a big off-road truck, we've got Bilstein suspension on here. Super beefy, super nice. And we'll see how this thing handles. You know, I'm sure it's gonna feel great on the road and even off-road, which would be pretty cool. The bed of the truck, it's a little bit wider than like the regular one. Looks super good, and you kind of can't tell on video, but this thing is super wide and super aggressive. So now come along to the back. I do love the new taillight designs that they're doing on these cars, where they almost look smoked, but it's not actually the lens that is smoked, it's actually the interior of the light that's actually smoked. So it gives it a nice smoked appearance without actually making it darker, you know, visibility wise. Super nice setup. And then once again, you've got your matte black Ram right there. Super sick. And obviously this thing is 4x4 because obviously it's a truck. You really need it for that. And we'll even try and launch this thing. It'll be super sick because, you know, 4x4, 702 horsepower. It's a lot for a truck, and this thing weighs a lot, but 700 horsepower in any car is just mental. But, you know, you've got your dual exhaust. Looks super good. I mean, you don't really see that on trucks a lot. That's very more of like a sports car thing I see. A lot of newer cars are definitely having it, but that's just sick to me to see it. But let's go and check out the interior on this car because it is crazy. And now I'm used to smaller cars, so I like driving 8.6. You know, I'm used to small cars, so it's pretty cool to see it. For the interior, this thing is nuts. We've turned it on so you can really see everything in here. You've got a nice display, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, all the nice stuff that you get in a new car. And I think it's cool. You know, a lot of people are against these big displays, especially in trucks, but I mean, a lot of cars are getting like rid of their buttons, rid of all that. It's nice that we still have a physical button for volume. You've got more physical buttons for like AC, for example. It's really nice. You know, you've got everything you need in here. You know, music, comfort, all that. Really just navigation. Everything you get in a new car is here. And then it is nice to see we've got a physical speedometer and tachometer in here along with the digital display. So you get a mix of both. You know, I don't like these cars that have fully digital. Maybe in the future I'll start liking it, but I definitely like having the physical, you know, old school style of having the actual speedometer and tachometer in there. Just looks a little bit smoother in my opinion. And then in terms of build quality, we've got nice leather right here, leather wrapping on the shifter, and then also a nice mix of soft touch right here with like more red leather. Just overall a really premium interior, and you know, Dodge has definitely stepped up their game. A lot of people weren't a fan of the cars back in like the early 2000s, but these newer cars are really nice. A nice quality leather, nice color choice as well, and it just overall feels really good. You know, the steering wheel, like with the paddles, you can actually, they're pretty large too, versus a lot of cars I feel like have these really small ones, which is not the most fun, especially, you know, since newer cars, I feel like paddle shifters are just getting smaller and smaller, and soon enough, I mean, with these CVTs, they're just probably gonna disappear. But it's cool to see, you know, Dodge is just taking it old school style. You've got a big engine, supercharged, nice big old paddle shifters. I mean, what more could you want out of this thing? So for the back seats, it's super spacious back here. You know, you've got your cup holders, typical stuff you'd see in a truck, but it's also nice to see that we've got 2 USB chargers, 2 USB-C chargers, and then your typical wall outlet, which is really nice to have, you know, especially in a truck, you're gonna be working out of this thing, or even if you're just going on a long road trip, having those things is definitely really nice. This thing is crazy, but let's go and take it for a drive and really see how that 702 horsepower feels. That's nuts for a truck. That's a little bit more than most cars. So there you have it. That was the Ram TRX. This thing is super sick. 6.2 liter V8. I mean, it is something else, right? But huge thank you once again to JC and Tori from ALM of Athens for making this video possible. Definitely check them out and see if you can buy a car from them. Super nice people. We'll see you in the next one.